Welcome to the masquerade, you replayers. And because you guys are the ones that are going to see this. How y'all doing? Welcome to the live stream of 3/30/25. Your boy Metal from TinMan-TNA here. Gonna have a little BS session today. Rap with the peoples a bit. And start doing a little bit of promo for the upcoming episode 50 of the podcast, which I'll repeat that for those who joined live in a little bit. Got the apple juice. Love the apple juice. Actually, pretty nice day today up here. Not really too crappy out. Yesterday weren't supposed to get any rain, supposed to get thunderstorms overnight, but you know how that goes. We're never right with the weather. So yeah, we ended up getting some rain yesterday, and it was actually a pretty warm day. We're not getting the beautiful weather like Randall and Andrew are getting down there in Texas, but at least it's like 70, so like t-shirt weather at least. Got to rock around all day yesterday in a t-shirt, which was quite delightful. Have not been able to do that in a very long time. Here in PA, up in the mountains and Laurel Highlands, it seems like we have two main seasons. We have winter and we have road construction season. Well, three. We do have rain. Winter, rain, construction season. That's about it. But got some stuff to go over today, so wait until we get some more people in the chat here, so we can cover that stuff and everybody can be in the know on things. Got a little notes here, which I'm moving this because frankly I don't need this. Not today. Not gonna need that today. So how is everybody doing today? Somebody's at my front door. Who would that be? Probably my dog. My wife and my dog. She's out playing with the floof. Sometimes y'all might see Magnus appear on the lives here, so, or not on the lives, in some of the pictures and stuff like that. So some of the animals, they like to come in and hang out. I was kind of hoping my favorite little orange fur bag would come in today and hang with me, but she hasn't come in yet. She'll probably make an appearance like Charmy did here a few weeks ago. You can see the peacherine. Like usually when I'd sit out by the bar, by my theater room, I have a bar, and I would sit out there at the table and try and do my videos and stuff like that out there when I first started the channel. The cats are all coming and trying to be my best friend and trying to help me with everything and so on and so on. Well, Peach, if I said her name, she would appear. It was like Beetlejuice. If I say it 2 more times, she might be appearing. But she would just appear and be up on the table and trying to like crawl in my bags. I'm like, come on, cat. I'm just trying to do this video. The old floof boy, he's upstairs, so we have a little thing in the door to keep so the cats can come up and down, so they can come down to the food and litter box and all that kind of stuff in the back by the back door, and then he can't come down and run around. Occasionally we open the door and let him come down and get zoomies in the carpet because we have hardwood all around upstairs, so he gets to come down here and have his zoomies indoors, running back and forth around the entirety of the basement. It's quite funny to see a golden retriever just get the zoomies and just start going. Great Dane was something else. Oh yeah, when I had my baby Dane, she was awesome. But whenever she got the zoomies inside, you definitely could hear it next door. She's a Big old chunker dog. Yeah, let's see what do we got going on here. Bueller, Bueller. Anyone home? Nobody home? Bueller, that you? Ah, I hate when you go to do something and you just hit a button. You know, I didn't mean to do that. Very first thing I see as soon as I open Twix, right? Very first thing I see. Remember the Trilateral Commission, Bohemian Grove, Freemasons, Templars, and Illuminati? That used to be a thing before internet influencers replaced everything with the Jews because their engagement went up. You haven't noticed this during your deep dives and noticing you're not smart enough to discuss world powers at all. You can critique Israel all day, that's fine. But if that becomes your boogeyman for literally everything, you're basic and frankly an embarrassment. That was posted by Roseanne Barr. I'm saying that it's relevant to episode 50 um, of the podcast, that is, 50 of the podcast. Um, wow. It is. Roseanne, you're wrong. It is. You're just trying to cover because you are. You're part of it. So I give us a couple more minutes, see if we get anybody in here. If not, I'm going to pop back on later, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Might not. Don't matter. Let's see here. Light Fighters has a video up. I'm looking on my other thing device here, but Light Fighters has a video up yesterday of field tools for the Light Fighter. I have covered field tools and stuff in the podcast, and it's one of those things people don't really discuss. They really don't. It's all about the cool gear and the guys lead this and the tactical freaking Trigicon that and this giggle switch and that giggle switch and all the high speed dude stuff. They never talk about tools and being a working guy and doing things with my hands daily and having to fix stuff and repair stuff and build things all the time. Tools, as mentioned last Sunday on my live, tools are an unsung hero for the Everman as well as the Minuteman. Um, they're talking about the multi tool, just something so simple as a multi tool. I use it for tons of stuff. I got my brother one for his birthday, and he's like, "Dude, I know what I'm going to use this for." He's big into fishing. He loves to go fishing, and he didn't have anything to take with him to go fishing, to have a tool for doing things fishing related. So now he has a tool for that. But there you go. Something so simple as going fishing. You need tools. Well, we need axes and shovels and pry bars and post hole diggers and stuff like that. So whenever you are doing preparedness and preparing for whatever, you definitely need to get tools. You definitely need to have tools. An extra shovel, extra pick, extra hoe, extra rakes, extra this. You need to have those extra tools. You need to have extra saw blades. You need to have extra drill bits. Like, I'm not seeing anybody really going into that like I am on the podcast. I go deep into that. I go deep into saying you need to have zip ties, screws, TMT. What is up, brother? Welcome. Welcome. Hey, man, I don't have Discord. On my channel in the description, I have my email. So hit me up there. We'll wrap. But the tools, the consumables, the screws, the nails, the nuts and bolts, the tapes, the filters, the that kind of stuff. A lot of people completely overlook that stuff in their prepping. They're leaning more into like the beans and bullets, medical. Yes, you need all of that stuff. That is very important. But if you need to make an actual repair in your home, you need to make an build some type of structure, whether it be an area denial, whether it be an area deterrent, whether it be some kind of barricade or something like that. You need to have these consumables to be able to utilize. Well, you can also cannibalize things to make more, like lumber and stuff like that. But it's also good to have a little bit of lumber, maybe some conduit, some PVC pipe or copper pipe, have extra solder and flux and ways to, I don't want to charm me, ways to make repairs that you don't have otherwise. Can't stress that kind of stuff. Pat, welcome, sir. Yep, metal sheeting, 2x4s, plywood, pipe. I don't see the cool dudes talking about that kind of stuff. So that's something I've talked about for years. Even when I was doing the Warrior Collective thing with Reaper in on that podcast and on that YouTube, we talked about that stuff quite often. But okay, cool. You got all this cool guy, high speed stuff. Yeah, I'm freaking awesome. But there's charm. But do you have the stuff to fix a burst pipe like I had to deal with here a couple weeks ago? She's she's special. But yeah, you got to have the stuff to make repairs. You have to have the stuff to fix things and build things and continue on. It's not like you're going to be able to roll down to the local Ace Hardware or to a big box store or something like that and get those kind of things. Um, Being an electrician, I always make sure I have a couple extra outlets, a couple extra switches. I have extra breakers. I have extra Romex around, extra staples. Should I need to do any kind of electrical here? I have extra plumbing stuff here. Should I need to? I even went as far as to have like like a binder that has all of the different stuff labeled out, listed out for plumbing, for electrical, for our drainage system, for our even our paint, the different paints that we have in here. I have like all the paint codes and everything all written down for mixing up paint. Yes, sir. The hand tools, the axe, the shovel, pitch A4. Yep, legit. Like I used to catch crap because I carried a uh, Gerber Gator machete that has sawback. The sawback on those things actually rips really good. I carried that, but I also carried a hand hatchet. Okay, well, you carrying all this extra stuff, and plus I carried my e-tool. It's like, yeah, because I can probably make like a digging stick. You know, I know how to do that in survival. You know how to make a digging stick. Okay, cool. But I'm digging like that much of a little like, and then I have to like hand get it out. Well, then I'm using these, and I could possibly, you know, stove a finger or something while I'm doing that. I'd rather just use the dang e tool and dig quicker. Use work smarter, not harder, right? Have the right tools for the job. It's a great thing that light fighters put out there like that. Love it. Love it. This little idiot's gonna be back here just hanging out. If I move, she is going to go whew, go flying that way. Because my chair is this is one of those trick computer chairs. If I lean back, I could end up on the floor. But I know where the apex is because it's my chair and I sit in it so much doing this stuff and working at my desk here. I know where the apex is. Wife for one of the girls sit in here, they go back. This little thing, she likes to jump on it when I'm working with stuff. By charm. She likes to jump up on here and knock the chair over. I'm like, what are you doing, cat? What are you doing? So how are you guys doing this fine Sunday? Yeah, got the Rice Krispie hands going on. It's quite fun. Oh, I just got a message from our boy ACR. He just got off the water, so he'll be joining us soon. He was out getting the kayak a little wet today, so Work it all moving a washer and dryer, TMD. I just had to work with a neighbor. Very good friends of ours. They're same age as our kids, but they need adultier adults around, and that just so happens to be us. Um, love them dearly. Their washing machine went, and we were trying a couple different things. I replaced a pump in it for them the other day, and it ended up being the control board. Well, they ended up getting a new one, got rid of the old one, and yeah, we were playing around that, monkeying around with that. It was quite fun. You're absolutely right, Pat. Having the Alaskan sawmill, Brailer's mill dimensional lumber be clutch during the fall of the empire. Um, I one thing I like to do, being here in PA and working where I used to, I have made a lot of friends in the Amish community. Even so much, I got a nickname from a lot of them. But those guys, they have a lot of that old school tech, as I say tech, air quote, but how to manually do the stuff with manual saws and all that kind of stuff. They got a lot of that kind of stuff. And I've learned a lot about how to make that kind of stuff with what they've showed me. So if you all got any of those kind of folks around, good to know them, good to work with them, and good to learn from them. Definitely. They have like, okay, you're in Gettysburg. Um, I actually used to live a long time ago when I was just a wee little metal. I used to live in Biglerville when I lived around Gettysburg. Here in the state, I've lived in Bedford County, Somerset County, Lancaster County, Adams County. I actually got some good friends out in Gettysburg too. And I actually supply Gettysburg Adams Electric with their parts and guy wire kits and all that kind of stuff. I just pulled a bunch of stuff and got it ready to ship out on our truck tomorrow, heading your way. Um, I did live in Lancaster. I lived in Millersville for quite a few years. Um, and I worked down in Burdenhand, down in Gap area. Worked for a company called back then it was called Sunline Solar, and we did solar, hydro, electric, alternator charging systems. We did a lot with LEDs. We made LED buggy headlights and tail lights. We had charging systems to charge batteries on the buggies. Um, doing all that, working with Lumalux and um, Tyco and a bunch of other companies, we ended up getting in partnership and working with companies like Streamlight, with Surefire, with Princeton Tech, with Black Diamond, with back then it was Innova. Innova has now been bought out by a company called Night Eyes. Night Eyes makes all kinds of like little things, like little EDC type things, and like wire wraps and carabiners and like little bottle opener, screwdriver type things. They also make different flashlights. So I worked with a lot of those companies back. That would have been Circus, probably 2001 through 2004. I was a Streamlight and Surefire, Princeton Tech, Black Diamond, all those companies. I did testing for them. I did evaluations and R&D. Did a lot of work with them. They would send us literally cases of lights and have us tear them apart, submerge them in fish tanks full of water. We would EDC them and try and beat the living daylights out of them. I used to hammer nails with lights and stuff. Like whatever we did to them, we did to them. But then we have to write a review on what we found, no matter how we torture tested them. And after tearing them apart, me being the electronics guy and tearing them apart, being the high speed redneck, I took and I'd tear apart the Streamlight. I'd tear apart the Surefire. I'd tear apart the Princeton Tech, the Black Diamond stuff, the Innova stuff. I'd tear them all apart. And I would compare components of what they were using. And come to find out, a lot of times, and um, y'all were talking about the goon light, the goon beams, and the goon lights. Those are freaking cool. I do like those. Eventually, I want to get my hands on one and do the same thing to it and strip it down and compare it to everybody else. Because if they're doing a product like that for how much cheaper, and they're, you know, not government contract and up in that whole world, I would rather support companies like that than Surefire and Streamlight and all those guys. Because I found out that the Streamlights and the Surefires, when you tear them apart, it's the same LED, the same drivers, the same everything. The only difference is they might upgrade from the driving it at a 3-watt LED. They might try and drive it like it's a 5 to get more output out of it, but it's going to burn your beam out. It's going to make your light get hotter. It's going to kill your battery. It's going to do all this stuff and be more detrimental than anything. So some of those, they were really trying to push that power to them, and they would blow out quicker. But they're the same exact LED manufacturers, same everything. Some of them would pot their electronics, meaning they'd put epoxy over top of their electronics to seal it and make it waterproof. Some of them did not. Some of them had O rings and things like that, and some of them did not. They were literally all about the same damn thing. And tearing apart O lights, I found they're the same exact internals as what the Surefire, as what the Streamlight, as what all of these other manufacturers are. They're the same freaking thing, guys. It's just the name on them. They have a different housing. They may be driving it a little bit differently and playing with the electronics in it a little bit, tweak it here and there, but they're all buying the components from the same companies, same stuff. It's like a GMC Sierra and a Chevy Silverado. It's the same damn truck with a different badge on it. That's basically it. Goonbeam, I just found out about it the other night from TMT's live. I am looking at trying to get some of the goon beams and get into those and like put them through their paces and see what they're about. Um, I have a bunch of Olight stuff, and so far I have yet to have a single issue with any of the Olight stuff. Um, as far as the grade of the LEDs, sometimes you get like a little green cast, sometimes you get a blue or a purple cast, sometimes you get like a hyper white, like some people call it the ice blue cast to it. Um, and the thing with that is it's just the grade of the diode. And I've taken those and I've put them under spectrometers and all that kind of stuff just to read the wavelengths on them and all that kind of like they're all literally within the same basket at the end of the day. Right. I mean TMT. I mean it's potato, you know. I mean Chevy and GM I like I have a Silverado. No no qualms about that. I love that. It was my dream truck. I always wanted to get a Silverado when I could afford getting a big boy truck because I always ran around in like little beer Rangers and stuff like that. But I wanted a bigger truck for doing the things because I overtaxed my Rangers with what they could carry and tow. And I treated a 2000 Ranger like it was a 1500, and it did stuff it had no business doing. So props to those old school Rangers back in that day. They were better than what a lot of people think. They rusted to crap, they fell apart, but my transmission worked great. My four-wheel drive worked great. My motor kept going. I'm not a fan of the blue oval, but I will say that thing was a freaking tank. But I always wanted Chevy. I always wanted Silverado. I'm a bow tie guy. Um, yeah, they're pretty much about the same thing, like you said. It's a suspension. There's a couple tweaks here and there on either side, and sometimes you can buy a package on Chevy, and it's going to be a better package and cheaper than what GM is. But then in a couple, when they switch over models, then the GM is beating this Silverado. It's like they just play their little fuck up games back and forth just to get people to buy. That's all there is to it. But Goonbeam is amazing. I mean, from what I'm seeing, yeah, I want to check them out. So get my own hands on them and finger fuck them myself, so that way I know that I can personally speak to them like I have with the others. Um, I don't know. I like getting that stuff like I do with the gear. The Condor, the Yakeda, the Marting tops. Top G, welcome, sir. Thanks for checking in, man. But I like getting that cheaper gear because I've had the high end gear. I've had all that stuff. I liked it. Some of it held up awesome. Some of it I destroyed the first time I had it out. Do the same stuff, but rather than going and taking my recommendation to get, hey, this pack's going to be cheaper for you, but it's triple stitched here and there, and then it's reinforced in these places. You can upgrade it here, there, and there, and make it even better than what that $400 pack was. You can do it in the $75 pack. No, well, they end up spending $700 on a pack, and then they blow that one out in about 3 weeks. ACR, welcome, sir. Welcome, welcome off the water. Did you find the lady in the lake? Did she give you the sword? I know you didn't give her the sword. That's reserved for the Wi-Fi. I'm repping one of our local businesses here today. Tall Pines Distillery here in Salisbury, PA. Got the moonshine. No, but for real, TMT. Yeah, hit me up, man. We'll rap, dude. Andrew can tell you. He and I have our BS sessions. Good convos, good convos. Appreciate the like, comment, subscribe there. Top G. Awesome. Glad you had a good time in the water, bro. Yeah, I would love to be able to do stuff and like be able to break things down and bust stuff up and give like the everyman opinion on something, use it in the field as a minute man, use it at work, use it in the day to day kind of crap. Like a lot of the stuff I carry is because I've been doing this for so freaking long and doing that kind of stuff for so long. That what I carry is because I've beat the living daylights out of it for decades, and then that's what I carry now. A whole video today from ACR. Ooh, nice. Yeah, guys, I've been talking to Andrew about this. I've been working on episode 50. It's the end of my season 2 in podcast. I have far more than 50 episodes on Tin Man TNA podcast, but this is the numbered episode 50, and it's the end of season 2. I do 25 episodes per season. A lot of guys just roll through. I segmented it up so it's easy to refer back to, keep a finger on the pulse of when and how, right? Um, Episode 50, I wanted it to be a big one because it's halfway to 100, right? And it's the finale of season 2. So I had 8 pages, front and back, of talking points of things that I needed to research to build the podcast to actually make my bullet notes for the podcast. Sometimes I just fly off by the seat of my, fly by the seat of my beard and just go with it. Um, Certain things I actually make up notes for the show. And this is one of those ones I wanted to make notes for the show. 8 pages front and back with what I have done so far. This thing could be like a 5 or 6 hour freaking podcast because I can just go with it. Probably what's going to happen is it's going to be a 50 part 1 and part 2. So I'm trying to get all that worked out. Meanwhile, doing everything else around the house here today to get reset for the week. Kind of got screwed up last week. Ended up having some dental issues. Went to dentist to get a filling taken care of about 2 weeks ago, And last week I was kind of with it and leaned into the apple juice. I'll see what I can do, TMT. Um, just depends on what all I can get done here today. Um, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try for you. I'm gonna try for you, bro. Doesn't mean I'll succeed, but I'm definitely gonna give it the honest try. Um, yeah, I had that issue with the tooth, got a filling. Well, apparently that pissed everything off in there, and I ended up being in excruciating pain. After I don't know how I made it through my live. I don't know how I made it through recording episode 49 of the podcast. I don't know how I did any of that. Like sheer moronic perseverance, I guess. I don't know. But come Monday, I ended up going to the dentist and getting them to check it out. And come to find out, I need to get a root canal on this bad boy way in the back up here. Um, I have good teeth. I take care of my teeth. I brush my teeth, floss. I'm a real stickler for dental hygiene, but I inherited teeth from my parents. So yeah, I end up having to go back get a root canal. Well, I can't get into the specialist to do the root canal until May 20th. I am on a call list waiting to have somebody cancel, and I have no idea how many callers are ahead of me, Jimmy. But here I am. I've been taking antibiotics and back and forth between Tylenol and ibuprofen and apple juice. Can't do it while I'm at work, but anyway, I've been steady diet of that kind of stuff just to get by and still function. And yeah, I've been lucky. Antibiotic. I ended that Friday. Here I am Sunday, and I haven't been having any pain yesterday. I was actually able to eat yesterday. Um, went to my brother's birthday party, and I got to spend some time with the fam and my my. No, not supposed to drink at work. I mean, we can get high at work. Literally, we have lifts that we go up in the shelves and stuff. And we have ladders, so we can get high at work. Ketchup here, the old prescription juice. Yeah, man. I got a. I think it's an 80 horsepower here today. 80 horsepower apple juice. Um, yeah, that's been helping keeping things cleaned out. EDC has fallen out of my pocket in my truck 2 times from about 5 feet to blacktop. And its tiny dent in the lens still works awesome. Dude, I just had a freaking tooth pulled over here next to back um about 2 months ago. And what was crazy is I had it taken care of some years ago, had a root canal done on it by the same guy I'm going back to for this one up here. And he did an amazing job with the root canal. The dentist that I was going to at the time, however, he kind of sucked. All of his work's like falling apart, and I'm getting that taken care of. Trying to get all this kind of stuff taken care of before SHTF kind of deal, whatever that may be. Um, but the dentist that I was going to at the time went, and when he went to install the crown, he just like krishmackled that thing on there, and he ended up breaking the tooth. Like it literally split. So whenever my new dentist, who was actually my ancient dentist from back in like the 90s, he ended up doing my wisdom teeth and all that kind of stuff. Great dentist. He is amazing. Um, when he went to pull this tooth, he found out that it was absolutely split in half, and he pulled it out in 2 sections. He had to pull 2 sections out. It was terrible. Dual action Tylenol, only thing getting you through. Thing getting them pulled, man. Dude, mm. Godspeed, man. Godspeed. I definitely, definitely feel your pain, dude. Oh, dude, I'm having all kinds of fun at the dentist. His name is not Louis Rocco. No, he's Italian, but he ain't Rocco. he kind of like freaked me out a little bit when he went to pull his tooth. He's like, okay, I'm gonna stand up here so I can pull this out and get it out quick. And he stood up and literally just went think, think. I'm like, really, dude? But the guy that does my root canal, oh my god, he's awesome. First time I went to get a root canal done by him, I was terrified. I was like, fuck, root canal. Oh, I've always heard, oh, root canals are terrible. I I was so nervous, and he's like talking me through it because I'm all Mr. Analytical minded. He's trying to like he's talking to me, telling me what he's doing, how he's doing it, this, that, and the other, having a conversation, telling me like one sided conversation, obviously, because I'm all like, "Arr!" Right, and not in that kind of way, you sickos. But he he's talking to me about the procedure and what he's doing, how he's doing it, what he's seeing. I'm like, it's cool. It's like keep my mind going. I ended up I started snoring. Shook my shoulders like, "You right there? Still with me? Falling asleep?" Like, yeah. But he's that good. So I don't mind waiting a little bit to go to him as long as I can get in there. As long as the cancellation list pops up. I mean, I will say that like clove oil has helped. I take something I do. Here's another home type thing you can do. Um, one helps you with fresh breath and dental hygiene, and two or three, as it would be, because I can't count. I went to Chestnut Ridge, I can't count. But three is it helps you whenever you have dental pain. Is take cloves, bay leaves, lemon juice, sea salt, and pour boiling water into like a mason jar, and put the lid on, just vent it a little bit, let it come out, let it steep up, kind of like a tea. Let it steep up, and then whenever it's all cooled down and everything, give it a good swish around. And if you use that to rinse things out, it takes and it disinfects. It has antiseptic properties, antibacterial properties. If you have an infection, it helps to keep the infection at bay, and it also helps with pain management. And the lemon ends up and clove end up giving you like fresh breath and stuff. It's kind of nice. So that's a nice home thing y'all can make. And one of the things I found out, I asked him to check it out, let me know. I said from chewing for 30 years, I said, how are things? He's like, dude, he's like, besides having like hamster pockets in my face right here from sticking my chews in, he's like, your teeth are great. He's like, your gum recession's good. Like, there's no issues. So pretty happy about that. Pretty happy about that. I can keep doing my chaw diddly, the old craw diddly, packing in my lips for a little bit yet. Maybe. It was crazy. When I went to work on Monday morning, my one side was like this, and I was walking around talking like this. Kind of stupid, but I said to my wife, I was like, "You still love me even though I'm a little fucked up." It was quite funny. Quite funny. But I wanted to. I was kind of hoping our buddy Randall would be Randall's Little Adventures would be on the live here with me. Um, wanted to discuss something with Randall because freaking love that dude. He's awesome. Randall is amazing. Just chilling in the chair with his hat and his glasses on, going over his get home bag, and I'm like, I see you, Randall. I love you, dude. I freaking love you, dude. Yeah, try and get a hold of him because 'cause I wanted to speak to him. I can say it in a comment, but I wanted to actually speak to the man because it's like I see what you did there, and I approve this message. Are you back, Charmy? Are you back? Come on, chirp. Come on, come on, come on. Did you hear that? My little tortie. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think if this cat had thumbs and had a little bit more horsepower to her paws and such, um, I think she'd be able to do a lot of the stuff I do in here working on stuff because she spends so much freaking time in here with me building rifles, working on rifles and pistols and stuff and doing stuff with gear. This cat is she's my multicam kitty. She's a good kid, but you got to love her on her terms because that's how she is. She's one of those. But when I'm in here, she loves me more than anybody. She's a little touched, but come on, get you down. There you go. Go have your fun. Go do your thing. Thanks for reaching out to him. Hopefully you can jump on. I know our boy Twin Arrows is out doing the work grind today. He said he was going to try and jump on, but he might not be able to because he's busy doing the work thing. I know his work's picked up for him, which I'm very thankful for. And I remember back when he and I first started uh, talking, he'd been following us on the Warrior Collective page for a few years now, and interacting with him in the comments and stuff. And then he was following me here, and I could have more personal interaction because Reaper was in charge of the Warrior Collective YouTube, and I was just following it and commenting as myself, my personal page, personal profile. Well, he and I started actually interacting more here, and then I was following him. Like, you know what, my man following me, and he's been supporting since TWC. I'm gonna support him, and I started watching his videos and interacting with him and his comments, his lives and stuff, and then we started connecting and actually having conversations and stuff via email and stuff. And yeah, I know he was going through some hard times and stuff, and the fact that he just wanted to work, he just wanted to put in the work, he wanted to do it, and the fact that he's getting to do it, I mean, I prayed for the dude, and I'm glad to see that that's like turning around for a boy, and he's getting some work in and getting things changed around. That's good. That's good. I always like to see people being blessed. You know, it, guys have a lot of trolls. Hello, neighbor. Hey, neighbor. Hey, neighbor. Look what I'm wearing. Randall's on a backhoe. But yeah, I like seeing people getting blessed. Um, thank you. Um, I like seeing people being blessed and having good things come their way. I know a lot of people get the trolls on their stuff, and I made a mention yesterday or the other day when I was in and out of ACR's live when we were out doing the shopping thing and trying to get home with the groceries and everything else, and I had a meeting I had to attend, and I just kind of no, I'll put it off. I'll get to them later. But no, it's like here I'm rolling 42 minutes. And I'm knocking on wood at this. I don't have to. I don't. A lot of you guys got blue wrenches, and I mean, where are they at? Where are they at? I don't know. Maybe they just don't like me, and that's a good thing. They can stay under their bridge because we got the band hammer. Hammer. Yeah, I wanted to give Randall some love on his get home bag video because it was very simple, and it was vertical live streams bring the trolls. Well, they come, but I'll just take it as it is right now, and it's open to the public. Anybody can join this live. Anybody sees it can join the live, but I'm thankful that they aren't jumping in here. But we definitely do. Need to get with some guys to figure out how they do like the group lives. We need to get with those dudes that do that, like TMT and those guys, and be able to bring something together with a lot of us. You show up as a short. Well, I'll tell you what. Randall can catch this in replay because you know we have that ability here. I want to give Randall's Little Adventure an amazing shout out. I have done Get Home Bag with the Warrior Collective. It got thousands of views, like 14, 15,000 views, right? It was a very popular video for that channel. And I got some flack on it, right? Whenever you do a Get Home Bag and you build it for your interpretation of what you have to get through to get home, right? No two get home bags will be the same. Nothing will be the same because different people are going to face different situations. They're going to have different distances. They're going to have different terrains. They're going to have different things all the way around, right? They may like Andrew. You got to deal with Houston down that way, right? Yeah. So your scenario is going to be different than like mine or Grit and Grace's, where we're up in the mountains and it's all countrified. You're going to have a different element to face than what we are. Different weather, as Grit and Grace said. It's going to be different. Randall said at least you got to be checking at least twice a year, every 6 months. Be checking your gear. Like what is it? 6 months. I'm taking and I'm reminding the silly Sallies from the podcast to check your gear, check your batteries, make sure you're swapping over to your winter type stuff. You know, I'm not going to need the heavier extra clothes that I would take in the summer. No, I might need like a hoodie, polar fleece, something like that to zip up, something to keep me a little bit warmer at night whenever the temp drops down into like the 60s at night. It might be a little chilly, but like in the wintertime, that's going to be a whole nother thing with where I live. I may end up having to deal with just driving home in a get home bag situation, right? SHTF, and I got to drive home. Well, my truck may not break down. I may not have to do it on foot. So I'm just driving home like a normal day, except at a higher rate of speed, right? So I might not even tap into that dang bag. Might not. And I just come home, grab my stuff out of the truck, get to the house, get in here, do my scenario for that exact thing, run through. I've done drills on it. I know what I'm doing. My whole family has. We just had an SHTF here a couple weeks ago with potential tornadoes. Had an SHTF before that with water lines busting when it was freezing outside, right? You have different SHTFs. Well, if I'm trying to get home, my vehicle breaks down, my cell phone, I can call my wife, I can call any of my friends around. I have friends that live along my route to come home. I have coworkers that live along my route to come home. That I can rely on one of them. Hey man, I got stuck, or I got my truck broke down, or whatever the case. Can y'all give me a ride? My one cousin has a tow truck. I can have my cousin come grab my truck and tow it to my mechanic down, literally right down at the end of the street, but less than a quarter of a mile away. Like I could probably hit his place with a pistol. So I can have them help me out in those situations. Okay, well, cellular network dies. Got a radio in my truck. I call my wife every day when I leave work, and I talk to her on my way home. Get the sit rep of what's going on, what the kids are up to, how her day was, tell her how my day was, working with the crew I do. And it's like she knows if she hasn't heard from me by a certain time, she's calling me to check on me. But if she can't get me, she knows there's a problem. She knows to kick the radio on here at the house and try and hit me on the radio in the truck. If she can't get me on the radio on the truck, she knows the path I take to go to work and come home. She can hit up one of my boys or hit up my neighbor, who is also one of my boys, and they can go check it out. And they can go see if I need help, something happened. She puts on her scanner app or hits like the actual scanner for EMS and stuff, and she can listen in and see if there was an accident or something. She knows what to do. So I have primary, alternate, contingency, emergency. I have a pace plan for literally every single day. Like I said, I may not even need to get into that bag. But if I do, I don't know what I'm going to be dealing with. So my bag would be completely structured, completely different then what ACRs, then what Pats, then what TMTs, then what Graces, what Randalls. It's going to be a completely different bag. And it's going to be a completely different bag what I carry in the summer versus what I carry in the fall and the winter. That's just how it is. Thoughts about an Air 10 with a 12.5-inch barrel to keep the overall package short? I, when it comes to shortening the barrel on something like an Air 10, um, to me, in my old life, the AR-10, Reaper, the SAS, you know, that was designated marksman semi-auto. I'm used to that being a 20-inch barrel or 18-inch barrel, depending. Um, I like those for that caliber and like 6.5 Creedmoor. I like those to be able to do what they're good at for reaching out, precision, more precision. If I wanted a straight precision rifle, I'm going to my 6.5 Creedmoor. That's a bolt action. If I'm looking for something to have a higher rate of fire, faster rate of fire, and be able, demo man, welcome, sir, to be able to have a faster rate of fire and to be able to get more rounds down range, a little bit more accurately than your standard, be able to see better. I'd want to keep that barrel length about right in that 20-inch range. My 6.5 Grendel, I did the video on it, my DMR rifle. It's a 20-inch barrel. I wanted a 24 on it. They didn't have one. Okay, I can do a 22. They didn't have it available. Okay, smallest I can go is 20. Otherwise, we got a deal breaker here. I can't work with this company to build this rifle. They got me a 20, so I went with that. 300 blackout. Um, 300 blackout. My nephew Raven, I talk about here. He was looking at getting a 300 blackout and suppressing it for those type of things. 30 caliber, right? That's a great round. For the price, in my experience working with all these different calibers and lack of better terms for going out and fucking with them and seeing what they do, shooting pressure plates, shooting ballistics gel, shooting reactive targets, doing all this kind of stuff, I found that the juice wasn't worth the squeeze when it came to 300 blackout for me. Um, I would rather go 7.62 by 39 and do it in an AK platform. If I was going to go shorter, 12.5-inch barrel, I I think 7.62 by 39 is going to do a little bit better of a job, cheaper than what 300 blackout is. Um, Not that I don't like 300 blackout for what it does. It does good for what it does. But I think for the everyman, for our budget friendly pockets, 7.62 by 39 is a better way to go to stay in the same caliber range. Um, it's not going to hurt your wallet as much as what the 300 blackout will. You'll be able to spend more time training with it. You're going to be able to spend more time and get a wider range of ammunition for that 7.62 by 39 than you would a 300 blackout. And you're literally right in the same dimensions, so to speak. Um, I'm gonna look it up here while I'm talking to you guys, just so I can see what the data says. 39. Literally, this just says what exactly I just says. Levi, welcome, sir. 7.62 by 39 300 blackout cartridges offer similar ballistic performance, but the 300 blackout is designed for use in AR-15 platforms. offers a wide range of bullet weights and styles, while 7.62 by 39 is more readily available and has a reputation for greater stopping power. So ballistically, you're going to do better with 7.62 by 39 than what you're going to do with 300 blackout from what I'm seeing here and what I had said. So food for thought. If I'm going shorter, I'd probably go 300 black, or rather than 300 blackout or an AR-10, I would go AR-15 in 7.62 by 39 or an AK platform in 7.62 by 39. If you're going to be carrying the thing around like a truck gun, the 7.62 by 39 in the AK platform is probably going to be more substantial than what the AR one would. Just from my experience beating these things around, that's what I would have. That's what I would roll with. Yeah, ACR, get that kayak offloaded, dude. Demo man washing dishes. Hey, I'm doing laundry. I threw load in the laundry machine in the washing machine before I came in here. With the 20-inch barrel with a suppressor on the end, you're absolutely right. It is cartoonishly long. But me, I'm coming from my previous life. The 20-inch barrel suppressed, I would rather have an amazing flash hider on my rifle with a long barrel than have a suppressor on it. Because whenever you're having to go distance shooting, dealing with hostiles, I found that the flash is a he's right there versus a sound where somewhere from over there. And if you're dealing, depending on your terrain, I don't know your AO, area of occupancy, I don't know what you're dealing with there. So if you're shooting like through a valley and a mountain ridge, that sound's going to be all over the place and bouncing everywhere. Whereas the flash, if they see it, right there he is. So I would rather kill the flash than worry about sound. Just my own personal thing from my experience doing stuff. In the cartoonishly long suppressor rifle barrel thing, I have had to use those in the past, and like old security detail type crap, being the marksman dude, and it sucked carrying that thing around. And if I had to do anything close up type stuff, I'm glad I had my pistol, but it was like you're packing this thing. It's so freaking long. Like I could only like carry the rifle. It sucked. One of my buddies, Badger, he was a frog man, and I call him Badger because he always used to badger the shit out of everybody. Super friendly dude, but he was always like, "Are you okay? You good? You need anything? You all right?" Like super over the top friendly, like all like a total people pleaser, and he used to badger the shit out of everybody. Just like, dude, we're good. Just chill, man. Do you need a drink? Do you want some Doritos? Do you want? Can I get you? Can I get you a burger? I was gonna fire up the grill. I can make a burger. You're like, dude, stop badgering me. Just have some fun. Go talk to some people. Crack a beer, whatever. But he he was a sniper, and he marksman sniper, whatever you want to call him, whatever he did in the Navy. But he had some pictures of him toting around some of these rifles that were taller than he was. He's like 6'2", and these rifles are taller than him with the suppressor on them. I'm like, damn, dude. But no, if you Pat, if you're looking for something like marksman wise, yeah, like it depends on what you're exactly looking to do with it, so that way you can hit your specific. Um, in that, if you're looking at an SPR type thing, um, versus just having like a truck gun or something like that. If it's shorter, you're not going to get the range out of it, obviously. But if you are going shorter for something like that, I'd go 7.62 by 39 over 300 blackout. We found my nephew when he was looking at the 300 blackout AR style. it was leaning more into, well, I'm not really going to gain much over the 5.56, but if I'm going to do a 300 blackout and suppress it and I want something quiet, I might want to look at a bolt action 300 blackout. So we started going down that rabbit hole. And till it all said and done, he ended up he got a Hux Works and he's throwing it on his 16-inch stag, and away he's going to go because he can use that on multiple rifles. Levi's mopping the floor, getting got greeted by the hounds, acting like they haven't seen you in a month. ACR, dude. We got home last night. We went to my my brother's birthday party. We ended up getting home like 9:30, 10 o'clock ish, somewhere in there. And when we got home, next door neighbors, they were having some friends over. Um, and their one friend, become a friend of ours, he loves golden retrievers. He used to have one growing up as a kid and so on and so on. Well, he loves golden retrievers and he's never met Magnus. Well, Mags went out to pee whenever Skylar was loading his truck with the cooler and all that stuff from them having a fire. And he came over and got to spend time with Mags. Well, then we had people like walking up and down the street, and he was going ape shit. So we had to put him in the house. So you see the at the front windows, just right there, and I'm like, kind of reminds me of that Stone Sour song. I'm looking at you through the glass. Don't know how much time it's passed. It feels like forever. Like the dogs, they have no concept of time. So you were gone for 2 hours, but you were gone for forever, Dad. That was literally him at the window last night, taking the old fishing pole. Man, I haven't been out fit. I love to go fishing, but I have not been out. I have not been out fishing in a long time. Um, I need to get out and do more, but I just don't have that thing. You know that thing that is just kind of like allows you to do stuff. You know, like time. Really don't have that, so I don't get to go fishing. Well, I know you're over there, Gettysburgish area, but I didn't know which part because you know how you get closer over to York, and it kind of flattens out a little bit. Like I wasn't quite sure where you're at there exactly, but um, you're basically like the lowlands from where I'm the highlands. Um, Pat, I think a couple hundred meters tops. Are you looking at a marksman? Or are you looking at like a GPR type rifle, like truck gun? That's kind of like the distinction I'm looking at here. Are you looking at going and taking care of the next zip code? Or are you like just a couple hundred meters? That's it. That's all you're going to need it for. Dude, dogs are the best. I freaking love them. My youngest has been bugging the crap out of us trying to get us to get another dog, and we're like, no, we're not ready. My idea, what I like to do is I'd like to have Magnus breed and have him have a litter of beautiful golden retriever pups and have my pick of the litter for picking a boy. That way I can have Magnus's son. And with him being Magnus Olafsson, I would like for his son to be whatever Magnus' son, do the Viking thing and, keep the Viking thing going and keep his bloodline going. But we'll see how that works out. Randall is probably like my son. My son, he can fish like he'll put in a big old freaking dip, half of it's falling out of his face. Over there, as soon as his freaking lure hits the water, he's got a freaking fish on. And I can be out there for like, and I'm using the same thing as beast mode is, and he's casting out there, and I'm like, Brandon, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like I'm doing the same thing. I'm like, take my pole, do it. He'll take my pole, he'll cast out, catch a fish, and I'm standing there like, I'm using his pole, nothing. But he's just ripping lips all day long. And I'm there like, watching him. Yeah, I can if I'm like I used to go out, there's a pond out back of my parents' old place. It was stock, belonged to the neighbor. And I could go there and fish anytime I wanted. He had the breast of the dam on the pond, had it set up that we had like a shooting alley there. We could do some like pistol shooting and some rifle shooting and stuff. Could get 100 yards if we took a table way back in the field and then put barrier across the road so nobody drive back. Um, yeah, man, we go out there and I go out, grab a jug of tea, put in a dip, go out there, get a stogie rolling, keep the little pecker flies away. And pecker flies are like the no-see-ums and like the little gnat kind of things that just bug the crap out of you, get in your eye, get up your nose, get in your mouth, in your ears, kind of crap. Yeah, just keep a Churchill cigar rolling to keep them away. I go out there and I'd be out there for hours just fishing like normal, catching fish, bass and bluegill and stuff. I had a great time. But then I take that butthead with me and I catch nothing and he catches everything. I don't get it. I didn't get it. But back to my thing about the get home bag here. Before I came down to do the live, I was watching Randall's video on the get home bag, and he had a simple sling bag tuned in to him and what he needs. He had a little disclaimer in the beginning of that video about making crappy comments, and I talk about making crappy comments on my lives or on my videos and stuff. But I still get dumb comments and crappy comments. It is what it is. Whatever. Up your nose with a rubber hose, right? But his bag was concise. It was simple. He didn't go through every little item in it, but he hit on the main points. But he also knew his flaws. He knew what he needed to beef up. He knew what he could step back. My bag, I did on the Warrior Collective. I tried to make it all the way well rounded for everything that I could possibly, run into. Okay, DMR with a little more magnification. I will come back to that. I don't know exactly what I'm going to deal with. Granted, Pat, I'm in the same type of environment, so to speak. So I had it up and I had my Spiritus bank robber rig tucked into it. And I had a couple mags, right? Like two AR mags, two pistol mags, field knife, that kind of stuff, and a flashlight on that simple Spiritus custom bank robber rig. Had that, and then I got crap because, well, you must live in a bad area if that's what you're having to carry. Blah blah blah. You should probably get rid of all your gear and all your house and everything and move out in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, I don't live in a bad area, but I may end up having to deal with bad area coming here, right? So I don't know if I'm gonna have to deal with. So I threw that in there. Should I need to, I can kit up like that and I can do what I have to do to fight my way home. If I have to be on foot, don't know. I had chicken bouillon cubes in the bag and a way to boil them up, canteen cup kind of deal. And I got crap because I didn't have food in my bag. I didn't have food in my bag. Guys, I'm at work. I have a lunchbox that has a bunch of food in it. Like I carry more food and more beverages every day than what I can consume during my shift. I do that on purpose. So I have food storage in that lunchbox that I can go to it. Granted, in my truck, I also have, other crap I can grab. I have a full on IFAC. I have a full on first aid kit. I have a toolkit and a survival kit. I have my Camillus carnivore with the little Tin Man Altoids survival kit on it that I can strap up. I got a lot of different stuff that is in all of those videos that I literally say I carry every day in my truck. I also have my sling bag EDC that I take with me even when I'm not in my truck and I'm in my wife's SUV. I took it with me yesterday. I always got my EDC pistol, okay, but I have my other stuff I travel with. So I'm talking shit in their mom's basement. Yeah, that's what really gets me. It's like you don't have a channel doing anything at all. You joined like 3 years ago, and you're just like "Nah, nah, 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 nah. Eedle, 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 eedle," like Patrick the Starfish from SpongeBob, right? I'm not a SpongeBob fan, but my kids talk about it all the time, and I've seen enough of it to be like "Eedle, eedle, 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 eedle," right? But like my bag is going to be completely different than all of y'all's. Your bag's going to be completely different than everybody else's. I was asked on the channel here to do a video on a winter get home bag. And I hadn't done it. I'd put it off because it's going to be completely different for everybody. Bobby B, welcome, brother. It yeah, I really don't even engage the idiots. Like I give everybody else the thumbs and the hearts and all that stuff, but I don't engage with the idiots anymore. You're just going to sit there and look stupid. If you don't get one of these from me on my channel, it means you're wearing a dunce cap. Literally is what it is. Right, exactly. What wouldn't you do to feed your kid, Pat? Right there with you. Patrick Starfish. Right? But it's like my bag is something that I've tailored to me. And Reaper said to me, he's like, hey, put together a bag for a get home bag thing. A couple people were asking me about it. Can you do one? I said, yeah, I'll throw something together. And I threw that together. Is it my get home bag per se? No. Do I carry a get home bag every day? No. Do I carry my EDC stuff and do I have preps in the truck that will help me get home? Yes, 100%. Do I need to rely on this big old thing to get me home? No, I don't need to rely on that. But I don't know what everybody else is going to be facing. But the main important things to having some type of bag like that, Randall, he knocked that shit out the park. Knocked that shit out the park. Like I was talking earlier about light fighters with the tools, right? Randall hit it out of the fucking park with the great points he made with you, okay, you're carrying water. You gotta swap that stuff out, like water bottles, because the plasticizers and the chemicals are gonna get into your water. And you're not gonna be able to filter that out well. Gotta swap your water. Your stuff gets hot and then cold and hot and cold and hot and cold and hot and cold. It's gonna spoil quicker. It's good for 10 years. And he has those metrics bars, and I freaking love those things. They're great. But you're gonna have to swap that stuff out on a regular basis. I make my own MREs for my kits. I have to swap that stuff out. I'm always having to swap the stuff out. Sometimes if we're gonna have a fire or something, I'll take and I'll cook up a meal out back. Use it as a snack, and the kids all think it's cool. Like, oh my gosh, we're eating it. You know? But I'll swap that stuff out. Medications. Gotta swap out your meds. Gotta swap out your band-aids and your antibiotic ointments and your bee sting creams and your hydrocortisones and all that. You gotta swap all that stuff out. You gotta swap it out regularly. I pound on the silly sallies. I do gear check in the spring, do gear check at the end of summer. At least 2 checks a year, making sure the batteries, making sure everything you got the right kind of gear in there for the right elements, for the right time of year, for everything. Plus, check on all your other stuff. Make sure this is this and this is that and that's this. Like Randall knocked it out of the freaking park with that. Most important points of any type of not even get home bag, any type of Minuteman gear, any type of prepared citizen gear, any type of any type of just in case, or as my oldest brother says, his possibilities bag. Right? Check yourself before you wreck yourself, fool. You heard me? Getting back into the 90s. But um No, it's like you have to get into that stuff and you have to, as I say, get in there and finger fuck it to get it. Okay, this expired 3 years ago. I should probably not be carrying that anymore. Oh, this is still good for another 2 years. Feels good, looks good. Okay, we're good. I can keep that. You gotta sort your stuff. You gotta sort your stuff. Randall doesn't have shelter in his kit. Living in Texas, you guys have a lot hotter temperatures. You got a lot of sun, you got a lot of heat. I don't know the water situation, but hey, if he's only so far away, he may not have to worry about getting as much water. Whereas some people, like you live out in the high desert or something like that, out like Arizona or Mexico or something like that, a little bit further out, you might be out in the middle of Route 66 somewhere. I don't know. I'm not an expert on that area. I'm a mountain guy. I'm a mountain goat. So, you may not need to carry more water. You may need to carry more water. You may be in an environment where you need to boil water, maybe an environment where it's non-permissive and you can't boil water, whether it even be a jet boil or an Espen stove or something like that. You may not be able to do that. So then you need the purifier tabs, drop in the potable aqua tabs. You may need filters or whatever the case. You have to tailor everything to your AO, as I say, area of occupancy, not area of operation. We're not high speed dudes here. We're not operating. We are not operators operating operationally. We're not doing that. We're just trying to get to freak home, right? How good you are, the bird is going to shit on the board and strut around like it won anyway. You're absolutely right, Grace. I actually said that yesterday. I literally said that yesterday to one of my nephews. But yes, Randall did an amazing job with that get home bag. He had such great points. He knocked it out of the park. I would, coming from the survival aspect, being a survival instructor, I would recommend to him, if he, I don't know if he has one in there or not, to get a poncho and some paracord. So that way, if he does need to set up a sun shelter, he can set up a sun shelter. If it is raining there, he does have the rain protection. There's a lot you can do with a poncho. There's a lot you can do with paracord. Even if you don't, and you're that far out that you have to do an overnight, dew does collect on things. You can use the poncho to collect some water should you need to. You can use it to carry water if you need to. So having that is a great tool, but he knocked it out of the park, man. He blew me away. He freaking blew me away, and I loved it. I loved it. I was there for it, and awesome. Yeah, man. Yeah. But like my bag, it's a lot bigger than what I would have in my special mental mind brain. I'm so bald, y'all can probably see what I'm thinking. Twin arrows, welcome, brother. Y'all getting that work grind in? But my bag is going to be different. I got mountainous terrain. If I'm having to go over mountains and stuff, I'm going to need more calories. I'm going to need more fuel for my mule, right? Still at work, getting ready to go home. Good, good. Get home to Mama Bear, man. Get home to Mama Bear and the pooches. But my bag's going to be, it's going to be bigger. It's going to be different because I travel a lot of area. But I'm going to have a bigger bag. This is like a 3 day pack. I don't need to load it to the gills, but I got to have some stuff that I need to work with. Um, I'm probably going to put this together and do a video and tag Randall's in it because it's important to have stuff with you. I have my EDC stuff that would get me home no matter what, but having something else if you have nothing is a is probably important. Probably important. So I will end up doing a get home bag generalized at some point. Riding with the boss. And I haven't ridden with anybody in a long time, at least as far as work goes. My my job really doesn't need me to ride around a lot. So thankfully, I used to have to be out in the elements and all that stuff all the time, but not anymore, thankfully. So, folks here on YouTube, I do have a podcast, Tin Man, TNA, Tactical and Apparel, not tits and ass, Tactical and Apparel podcast, over on Spotify. Been doing that for quite a long time. Did that with Warrior Collective. We had that podcast and YouTube. I do it here with this channel. I have a podcast over there. I talk about the things that I don't necessarily talk about here. I get more schizo over there, do the Crisky schizo rants over there, cover those kind of topics over there. I don't do them here. Um, Thank you for tuning into it, Grit and Grace. I appreciate it. Um, Doing episode 50. I started talking about that in the beginning of this before anybody had joined. Um, it's episode 50. It's a big one for me as it's the end of season 2. I break up the podcast into 25 episodes. There are other episodes sprinkled in that are, special edition episodes like the Navy SEALs bugging guide with Mando. I did a special report on the Fed and the origins of the Fed and what the Fed is. So people would understand that stuff. I do random little ones here and there, just like special ones, but actual episodes, there's 50 of them there. Um, I wanted it to be something a little bit bigger. Well, I started going into a few topics and I ended up with 8.5 pages of points to research and then expand in these talking points. And there's a lot to cover there because there's a lot going on in the world, history wise, currently, and a lot going to be going on in the future, which is right there. Um, so those 8.5 pages of talking points or whatever you want to say, things for me to research and then build my talking points on, rather. Yeah, one of those ended up making 4.5 pages of actual show notes and script. Sometimes I fly by the seat of my beard and I don't have anything and I just go because I keep it up here in my mind brain and I can just go. Other times I actually structure it and I have talking points that I can go from, go with a script. If I do this to its entirety, it's going to be like a 6.5, 7 hour podcast potentially. I said like 5, but the more I think about it, it's probably like a 6.5, 7 hour podcast, and I don't want to do that. I may end up having to break this up into like two separate. I'm going to try and get it done in two separate episodes, a part one and a part two. 50 part one and 50 part two. Um, what to expect on episode 50. Now, mind you, I'm going schizo rant kind of stuff, but I say schizo rant, but it's literally disclosure of what I can see, what I can research, what anybody can literally see and research for themselves, should they take the time and do it. A lot of people don't like to take the time to research things for themselves. And I'm a big proponent of everybody doing their homework. Know what you're dealing with. Um, Try and find the truth. Because as my mom used to say, you can deal with the truth, you can't deal with lies. So I always try and find the truth in whatever I can see because we all know we're always told the truth by everything, right? I mean, it's just how it is. Everybody, like the government and the leaders of the world, they all tell us the truth all the time, right? Hmm. Be smarter than that. Some of the things I'm going to be going into with episode 50 is going to be the rise of the Islamic Army, Al Qaeda 2.0, and the Taliban and what they're doing because GWAT was so successful. Sadly, it wasn't. Going to be talking about that. It is easier when you're dumb demo man. It's easier not knowing things, but as I'm going to get into the podcast, you're going to get all that and why it's better to know than not to. Um, Also, going to be going into our domestic government here, all the smoke, mirrors, and even more. Um, More about the bread and circuses and stuff that we're dealing with and having to trudge through. Also, getting into the Ark of the Covenant and other biblical artifacts and disclosure and what it means to our current time in history, what all this sets up for. Um, Also, going to be getting into the real puppet masters behind the curtain, aka the modern day Pharisees that we're having to deal with that are orchestrating a lot of this stuff. Um, I am not a religious man. I will never claim to be a religious man. I am, I guess, what you could call a baby Christian. I will always be a baby Christian. I will never know enough. I will never be able to do enough. I will, in my mind and my heart, I will never be able to be worthy. But I'm always going to do my best. Yeah, I curse, I chew, I drink some alcohol and stuff, but I try to do what's right by others, do what's right by higher power, right by God, right by Jesus. Um, is what it is, man. I am who I am, and that's all there is to it. But there is a lot going on in the greater scheme of things that if you go back and you look at scriptural text, it's literally happening right now. So I'm trying to add that to all of this and what we see. And it's if when I think I know something, I don't know crap. So that's why I'm constantly trying to learn more, always trying to do better, always trying to better myself, always try to carry out his will and his works, in what I do. Um, yeah, if you look at the number one baby name, and I don't know if Top G's still in here, he might be able to add to the conversation, but the number one baby name in the UK right now is Muhammad. Here in the US, we have folks from other countries that are able to be a part of our police force. Really? So there's a lot going on there, and I'm speaking to that there. Um, yeah, like literally last night, thousands of Muslims gathered into Times Square, threw down their rugs, and started doing their thing, blocking everything up. And I get into that stuff here. I don't like to do it on this space, but I will on the podcast. Um, there's been an infiltration, there has been an invasion, there has been an actual insurrection that has happened that nobody's talking about. Um, Welcome back, twin. But how do I put this? We have a governmental domestic terrorist, like counterterrorism budget in our government. Counterterrorism budget is being funneled to pay the Taliban to the point of we're funding their operation. We are literally funding their operation. So whenever Cash Patel takes and jumps on and says, "Oh, we busted these guys and da da da, $200,000," that's nothing. That is nothing. They aren't even talking about the money that we're paying them to keep them in business. So I'm going deep dive into all that. But yeah, dude, Dearborn is. We had some family friends that lived out there, and it was not good. They ended up leaving. Um, Let me go back in the chat here so I can jump back to Pat's rifle situation. so I can readdress that because I promised I would be back to it. Okay, Pat, you're looking at DMR with a little more magnification. Um, if you're gonna do a DMR and you want to keep it in like that 30 cal, I personally, what I went with was that 6.5 Grendel because I liked the aspect of the lightness of the 5.56, but I'd have to be using like 77 grain OTM. I'd have to use the heavier rounds there, but I'm still not going to get as much out of it as what I would the 6.5 Grendel. I leaned into the Savage MSR, and I like that rifle in the 308. I'm not a huge guy. I'm not. So packing all that extra weight was going to be an issue in the heavier recoil. I'm not a big dude like ACR or Twin. I'm just not. So having the bigger rifle and that bigger ammo wasn't going to be as beneficial to me. It'd be more of a detriment. So that's why I went 6.5 Grendel because ballistically, I'm getting about the same as I would with and range wise, right in the realm of 308, but I'm getting in a smaller package. Think of the 6.5 Creedmoor and the 6.5 Grendel as long action and short action. That's what I learned from Alexander Arms that came up with it. When I was building it, that's who I reached out to, is the guy that made the round to find out the straight dope on it, why he did what he did, how he did what he did, and what I need to do. So that's why I went with 6.5 Grendel. 6.5 Grendel, because this is relevant, 300 Blackout is necked up from 5.56, right? Well, 7.62 by 39 is kind of around the same wheelhouse as 300 Blackout, right? About the same. But 6.5 Grendel is 7.62 by 39 casing, neck down to a 6.5 projectile. So it's the same projectile as a 6.5 Creedmoor, but in a 7.62 by 39 casing, neck down. That's why I went with that. Does it cost a little bit more than by 39? Yeah. Is it worth it to me? Yeah. I get a 25 round magazine, same as what you would with an AR-10, but it's lighter. I'm reaching out to the same distance, and I'm having same accuracy, if not better, with the Grendel than I was with 308 when I was trying the 308s out. So that's why I went that way. If you're looking at something of a marksman rifle, don't. Charmy's back. She back. I can't keep her out. But yeah, if you're looking at something like that, don't roll out 6.5 Grendel. It's been a workhorse for me, Pat. But email is in the description for my channel, so feel free to hit me up anytime there and we can discuss it further. Working heading home after having a beer. 2 brews, and I'm sitting here nursing my apple juice. Got an 80 proof apple juice on today. But yes, with episode 50, I don't know exactly when it's going to be released because it is a definite work in progress. 47 took me a while and it was a big one. 50 is going to be an even bigger one and a lot more work. So far, I am probably 28 hours into that, and I'm only, as far as shows being written, I'm only past the first segment. I hate being autistic. I am going to dub Bobby B the drinker of the house. He's a professional. Bobby B, you are the drinker of the house. Don't need a speaker of the house. We got Bobby B. He's the drinker of the house. Oh, working on the yard. Yeah, we're getting to the point where I can start doing more work outside, and I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not. As I have a cat whining between my feet, trying to be my best friend. She's a little touched. But yes, Get home back from Randall. Awesome video. Make sure you guys, if you're not subscribed, check out Randall's little adventure. Go through and fellow folks that are in this chat, make sure you're all subscribed to each other for supporting each other, one another. Still hydrating from being on the water. Dude, being on the water. Come on, you got it, kid. You got it. You got it. You got it. Get up there. Get up there. She got it. She got it. Hear them claws just digging into my fake leather chair. Don't you get up there and sneeze on me, girl. But yeah, being out on the water, man, that just sucks it out of you. I remember when we were out in the boat last year with our daughter's boyfriend's parents. They have a pontoon boat. We went down to Deep Creek and we were out there running around in the pontoon. Kids were all tubing and stuff, and I was just sitting there. I just got zapped. Like it just sucked so much out of me. It was so freaking hot. Yeah, she is the tack cat. That's my multicam kitty. My little Charmy. I love her. I love her. I was kind of hoping that Peach would come down, but okay, now I've said her name twice. One more time and she'll appear like Beetlejuice. But yeah, I was kind of hoping she'd come down, but it's always going to be Charmy. Charmy, if I leave the door cracked, Commander Charmander will come in. We will definitely do that, Grit and Grace. We got down there once. We don't get down that way much. Um, they invited us down to go out in the pontoon and go hang out and stuff like that for the day. So last year we ended up going down for a day and hung out with them and ate at one of the one of the fancy restaurants down there and stuff. But it was cool, but it's not really my jam. I joined the army, so I didn't have to be around water. Come on, girl. Yeah, this is my number two cat. My number one cat, her mom, is upstairs, probably sleeping underneath a couch or something. She is also a multicam cat, but she's gray and black and tan or orange or whatever. She's the OG multicam cat. She's just the 2.0. She's the Cry Precision version, I guess, or the I don't know. What do you think, Charms? What do you think? She almost kind of has like the Deathstroke thing going on with like the two separate comic book and Batman fans will get that one. But Mhm. Oh yeah, it's like D jumping up in your lives for sure, man. Like if Mags was able to be down here right now, Magnus would be all up and all over me. Go like that. he, half of his brain is super intelligent, the other half's pudding. He's just special like that. Add apple juice. I have to switch over to the high test stuff. What did I call Stella the other day when we were talking? Oh man, what was it? I can't remember what I called her the other day. It seemed pretty fitting for what she does to you on your lives. Just all over you. It's like the Stellinator or something like that. I can't remember. But yeah, I'm looking at trying to do that podcast and get that out. That's like my number one priority at this point. Um, have some stuff in the works for videos for on here, but I'm backburnering those for the moment. Backburnering those for the moment, just so I can focus on that podcast. Normally, I don't take a break between seasons, but I think after this one, I'm going to have to, so I can get some other stuff done. Here in the Casa de Metal and working around Fort Living Room. Um, Getting that kind of stuff done and getting the garden set and all that kind of stuff. Getting the tiller brought out to us here next couple weeks to get all that going back there, and that's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be worth it. Um, yeah, definitely hydration salts. If you're pounding that water, for sure, keeping the electrolytes on board. Something I'll do is I'll take a little bit of sea salt or something like that and drop it in one of my hydration bladders. I carry like a little bag of it, little Ziploc bag, throw a little bit of salt in the water just to throw it in my cup or something like that, just to keep some salts on board. Used to take, and I'd put a little bit of 70 proof or higher vodka into my. I have a little one of the little travel bottles, the little mini bar bottles or whatever, single shots. I used to throw some of that into my stuff in the wintertime, help keep my lines from freezing up, and it worked pretty good. Um, it's not enough. I'd pour one of those into a bladder, and that'd keep me going all day, keep things from or overnight. I used to do that a lot at nighttime. Just keep things from freezing up. Just that little bit of alcohol was enough to help keep it still frost up a little bit, but they wouldn't freeze up all the way. It worked okay for me. I'm like, don't put enough in it that you're going to be walking around getting hammered if you're out doing the things. Um, we use drip drop. We use liquid IV. Talked about last live. All that water additives and stuff I use. I'm a freaking junkie for that stuff. I love it. Yeah, Element's a good one too. Um, yeah, I like using all that kind of stuff. Um, One of the things I carry hot hands with me. Like if y'all watch my videos, listen to the podcast, I have a hot hands fetish. I will take hot hands and I will like tape them, use electrical tape, and I will tape hot hands to my bladder, to my hose, just to keep stuff from freezing up in the winter because we will get very cold up here. Um, keep my hydration bladder tubes, keep them from freezing. I will throw that together. I won't have to worry about that here next season. So I probably won't need as many hot hands in my packs as I normally carry in the winter. I'll carry the big ones, the little ones, the ones that can slide into your gloves and stuff. I carry all that kind of stuff. But coming into the season, I won't need it. So do away with that stuff. Hence the gear swap. Liquid IV for $2 a box. Dude, that is awesome. Typically liquid IV, like you're paying 8, 10, 12, $14 a box for that stuff around here. Charm, what are you doing? That cat's so special. Yeah, that's a heck of a score, man. Next Saturday, I will be I will be appearing as a guest on another podcast. Good buddy of mine in school. Um, he started up a podcast. He was a listener to the Tin Man podcast, and he uh, he started up his own, just talking about random stuff. We talking about mechanical stuff. Was talking with one of his buddies that was a rapper. Talking with his brother who is a biker and like gym rat and stuff like that. Talking with veterans, and he's going to talk to this domesticated moron. So he wanted me to come on and talk about tactical and preparedness and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be on Lake Bottom Lounge uh, next Saturday. So getting to go do that with Eric, and that's going to be a cool time. Haven't seen Eric in a long time since high school, but we've kept in touch over the years, messaging and stuff, and talking on the phone and stuff. But get to go hang with Eric for a while. Creeper alert, dude! BB's down in Coreyville. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they have. I actually, what's funny about BB's down in Coreyville is their whole store is ran on a diesel shed. They aren't tied to the grid. They're off grid there. They have a diesel shed out back with a generator, and they have an alternator set up with battery bank and inverters that run that store. So Yeah, I used to shop at BB's quite often when I lived down that way. I haven't been there in forever. It was like a blast from the past there, Pat. I will share Lake Bottom Lounge over to make sure you guys get to see it. I'll throw a link up here in a post. And I'm going to see what I can do to cross post it on the Tin Man as a special edition for the podcast. Um, Eric's a good dude, um, musician. He did a lot of dude 556 subs, magic number. I was thrilled when I hit 223. But yeah, Eric, he was a front man for several bands throughout the years. Did like Irish rock, like Dropkick Murphys and Flogging Molly and all that kind of stuff. Really into that. I mean, which is kind of funny because back in the day he was like one of the ska type kind of dudes, you know. He was into that stuff. But whereas I was more like I was into rap and stuff back then. I started getting into rock and then I just like full on into, hard rock and metal. I still listen to my country, but rap ain't rap anymore to me. Just ain't. So I don't really listen to that. Like I listen to some Tom McDonald and some Topher and Marine Rapper and DQ and those guys, Space Force dudes. I listen to those guys occasionally, but I stick into my metal. I mean, I went back to the bathroom earlier today and I came out and the wife, she's upstairs doing a meal prep and stuff. Um, she had her earbuds in. She has some Jabras. I got her a couple years ago, and those things are freaking awesome. Um, it was before Samsung started making their own little version of the earpod, but she had them in. I didn't realize she had them in. I was talking to her, and she's like not even acknowledging me, and like she turned a little bit, and I saw the green, and she's like, I'm like, oh, she's listening to something. So tapped her on the shoulder. She's like, oh hi, like you listen to something. She's like, yeah. She hands it to me. She's listening to Black Veil Brides. Like it's like occasionally I'll catch my daughters like my middle daughter Katie, she is into like a lot of the same music as me, but she likes her like Rascal Flats and stuff like that. Then she listens to like, all the modern day poppy rappy kind of crap. And the youngest, she's all into that stuff too, but like occasionally I will catch them listening to Avenged Sevenfold or Asking Alexandria or you know, stuff like that. ACR, take care, brother. Enjoy the family Zoom. Have a great time. Fantastic getting to see you on here, man. And I'll catch you later on, brother. Um, but yeah, the kids like listening to some of that stuff. It just like it does my heart good. They're listening to that kind of stuff. Like I got them into Shine Down, and they're starting to listen to like Sleep Theory and stuff like that with me. I'm like, all right, I see you, kids. Thank you for coming over to like better music. And if y'all listen to like rock and stuff like that or anything like that, Sleep Theory is a band that you definitely do not want to sleep on. Not Sleep Token. They're cool. They're very cool. Sleep Token is very cool. But Sleep Theory is a band you do not want to sleep on. They got some great stuff. Great stuff. Doing some things there with those guys. They're pretty awesome. I would love to be able to reach out to those guys and have them do a Tin Man song. That would be freaking awesome. They got some cool stuff going on. Like back in the day, like I used to like old school Linkin Park. Loved old school Linkin Park. One of the bands that brought me back into like rock and metal and stuff like that. Um, and I liked old school Linkin Park. And then I fan of Linkin Park all the way up through, and then Chester passed, and they have Emily Armstrong in now, and I am not a fan of any of the new stuff. I'm full on old Linkin Park because this is not Linkin. This new stuff, new structure of the band is not Linkin Park. No, but yeah, like I see Sleep Theory has some things going for them that is old school Linkin Parkish, and I really like that. I really like that. So don't sleep on Sleep Theory. They're awesome. And another one that I really love is All It Remains. Phil Labonte. If you guys are on Twix, X, Twitter, Twix, Phil Labonte's on there, and the front man for All It Remains. And the band has been restructured. Their guitar player had passed away, but his like close friend that is an amazing guitar player. Last name's Richardson. I follow him here on the tubes. Um, I follow a lot of musicians on YouTube. Their personal accounts. I have to find this because this guy is like insane. Go back through my history here so I can not sound like an absolute freaking idiot. I see a lot of you guys' videos in my feed here when I look at my history. um, oh, where's he at? Where's he at? I know I'm getting close. I'm getting close. Where's he at? Where's he at? Another band is Wage War. I got you, Pat. I got you, Pat. Yeah, I'm trying to find it, and I'm just so stupid. I can't believe it didn't save. Like I was watching his videos for like here he is. Jason Richardson. Thank you, thank you, Pat. Sleep Theory is amazing. Jason Richardson, who's the guitar player for All It Remains. Oh my god, he is freaking awesome. Whenever Oli was going through his stuff, and he said, if anything ever happens to me, Jason needs to be your guitar player. That's all there is to it. He handpicked his own replacement, and dude is phenomenal. Dude is phenomenal. Well, hello, Miss Krista. Welcome to the fray. Welcome to the show. Need to have my neighbor here too. Wage War, yes, Wage War is a great band. I'm not a Nickelback guy. I am not a Nickelback guy. They have a couple songs that I'm like, okay, I like them, but I'm not a Nickelback guy. They Wage War covered um Saving Me. Bobby, wait. Oh, he said later to ACR. Um, but Wage War covered Saving Me, and I love their cover of it. They did it on Octane's like acoustic session or whatever. It was freaking awesome. Um, they got some really good songs, really good songs. My one dude that sings in there, like pudgy dudes with beards and mustache and stuff. Like you wouldn't think they'd be like that, and they rock, they rock. But yeah, another big fan of Falling in Reverse. Ow, on the desk. But yeah, love Falling in Reverse. Like all that metal kind of cool guy, high speed stuff I like. But man, hour and 53 on here already. Jeez, didn't realize I was going that long. Yeah, I mean, I there are some people that are doing like covers of Breaking Benjamin songs, and I'm a big fan of Breaking Benjamin. Also, another Pennsylvania band here. Same with like Motionless and White. I like Motionless. Um, big, huge Breaking Benjamin fan. I like Ben. Cool voice, unique. Got a lot of like neat stuff he does in his music. He's a huge Transformers fan, huge Star Wars fan, like total nerd, and that's awesome. Their previous drummer, their second drummer, Chad Saliga, dude is my favorite favorite drummer hands down. I like a lot of drummers, but Chad, like something with him, like he and I like made the connection. Um, and I do a lot of like Breaking Benjamin covers. Um, like I love that type of that type of sound. Like Chad brought in like elements of funk and jazz and bebop and stuff like that into the hard rock that if you know what you're listening to, you pick it up. But if you don't know percussion, you're not necessarily going to get it. You'd be like, oh, he did like this, whatever, da 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 ting. Well, that's something from this, or this is something from that. And it's like, I got you, dude. I got you. But I like doing that same kind of stuff when I'm playing too. Um, I have not listened to the Clarks. I have not. Um, I have not listened to Frog Leap Studios Leo M. I have not. Um, I I I just haven't. I like discover new music on Octane when I'm driving to work in the morning. Octane or Liquid Metal, and I listen to my Sirius XM all the time, but SXM or whatever they're calling it now. But I love those channels, and I'll occasionally kick back over to like Turbo or something, and the '90s on nine and Y2K pop or whatever. Because sometimes the girls are riding in the truck, and I'll kick it over there. Sometimes you can get some old school Coolio, Gangsta's Paradise, or some Snow. Like I was driving to work the one morning, and I was texting with ACR, and I took a picture of my screen on my truck, and it was Snow Informer. I used to love Snow. He's still around doing his thing, but hard rock covers just about everything. I'm gonna have to check that out. There's a lot, like I was getting into with the Breaking Benjamin thing. There's a lot of people that are doing covers of Breaking Benjamin songs and like doing acoustic things and stuff. And it was like, wow, this one girl did Diarrhea Jane, and I was like, I got goosebumps. It was amazing. Um, I like the regular acoustic, but then there was a like a lot of people will do the rock cover, and there are people that do acoustic covers. There's two different versions of the Diary of Jane. Some people don't know that. There is the actual version everybody hears on the radio, but then there is a piano acoustic version. Oh my god. Um, I love that version. Love that version. But yeah, I'm a music guy. Bad Wolves, pre and post Tommy Vexed. Bad Wolves, great band. Been listening to them for a long time. Before they even like got popular, I listened to Bad Wolves back in the day. And another guy, he does a wide variety of stuff. He had his own like rock and metal type thing. He did some country stuff. He's done pop stuff. He did covers of Disney songs, and he's also big. One of the big guys in doing Viking music is Peyton Parrish. I've been on Peyton's YouTube lives and stuff like that in the past. Like my whole family got into Peyton Parrish. Love Peyton Parrish. Not a big Kiss guy, but I like Stone Sour. Corey Taylor's freaking cool. Mentioned Stone Sour earlier, looking at you through the glass like dogs. But yeah, love Peyton Parrish. Great artist there. He actually Bad Wolves is what reminded me of Peyton Parrish because he did a song with Tommy Vexed. So that was really cool whenever I got to see those guys together. Yeah, Peyton's actually a cool dude. He is a very cool dude. We chatted with him in lives and stuff like that. And he's another guy I'd love to be able to get with to do some freaking music for the channel and for the podcast. I'm not the big fancy guy. I've said before, I don't edit anything. I do one shot. That's it. I don't want to get into production anything. When I did the Warrior Collective with my brother, he's into video editing and does all that kind of stuff. Godspeed. That's just not me. I'm not going to take the time to do all that stuff. I'd rather do it in content than spend time doing the flashy stuff and production stuff. The podcast, I can do all the podcast stuff, and it's right there on my soundboard, so I can do all the sound media stuff. But as I'm recording it, I don't edit for crap. What you hear is what you get. What you see is what you get. Reaper used to do the intro with the Warrior Collective I logo coming up and the metal music. I played it. We've played it on Tin Man whenever Reaper was on episode "Don't Fear the Reaper" in season one. He was on there, and I introed him with the Warrior Collective music. And the channel's still up here on YouTube. If you guys want to go check that stuff out, please do. There's some good stuff in there. It's my younger brother Reaper. You'll see sitting there with the mic and the stuff on. Um, but yeah, that channel's still up there, and there's some good content there still, so worth checking out. Um, but yeah, I I'm not gonna do all that stuff. But if I could get like Parrish or Sleep Theory or somebody like that to do something, oh, that would be so cool. That'd be so cool. I would like to reach out to Zoltan from Five Finger Death Punch. He is actually one of my brothers in the Kung Fu school that I went to. Um, he's also a fellow student there under my Sifu. We have the same Sifu. So we are considered cousins, or brother cousins, because he's of a different school under the same umbrella. But yeah, Zoltan Balthroy from Five Finger Death Punch is one of my close range combat academy brethren. So be kind of cool if I could reach out to him and they could throw something my way. That'd be really, really sick. I like Five Finger Death Punch too. I do like them. But yeah, it's been a just over 2 hours here, guys. I do need to get busy and get working. Ivan, I think, is potentially retiring. I heard something about that a while back, and then they ended up coming out with a couple more songs I'm hearing now, some new stuff. He might be. I mean, they've been doing it for a minute. So since like what, '07 or something like that, they've been in the game. So going on, I mean, just shy of 20 years doing Five Finger Death Punch, like out there. But yeah, I'd like to. Why I bring up Zoltan is not just because he's, a brother in close range combat academy with me, but also the fact that he's also a Minuteman. He does training. He has kit and gear and goes out and does the stuff. And he goes to places like Barrel and Hatchet and Orion Training Group, and he does what we do. I mean, for what it's worth, I mean, Post Malone goes and trains with GT and those guys, GBRS and all of them. But he's kind of leaned into the Minuteman thing, but whatever. I lean more into Zoltan because, I have the Kung Fu bond with him. Are you back again? Guys, we call her the circle back kid because she will leave and come back and leave and come back and leave and come back and leave and come back. She is the circle back kid for sure. Because my trash can is going to give her more love than I am. Anyway, guys, just over 2 hours here. I am going to get up off this thing so I can get to work and doing the things I need to do around here, as well as working on the podcast. Because I know the silly sallies that are just on Spotify and are over here are like, dude, yeah. So anyway, gonna sign off here, guys. I hope you guys are having a great day, a great morning, great evening, whenever you do watch this in replay. I thank y'all for jumping on here and spending this time with me and hanging out. Pat, find that email in the description of the channel. Send me an email. We'll talk about the DMR stuff and grit and grace. Pat's over like around Gettysburg area, so he's another neighbor in the area, so to speak. But yeah, we at least got a little triangle going on here. Not no like Illuminati triangle or anything, but like cool people triangle. So you guys have a great day. Stay blessed. Stay well. Help lift each other up. And until then, or the next time, metal out.